Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about YouTube. I don't know if YouTube's going to take this down. Sometimes they don't like it when you use their logo, but I'm definitely going to be promoting the use of YouTube for a dental office, but you could totally extrapolate this into any medical office, any type of healthcare providing office. So let's talk a little bit about why I started my YouTube channel. Obviously, if you're watching this, you found me on YouTube. The benefits of starting a YouTube channel for your practice, how much money I make from my YouTube channel. No problem telling you this, it's not that much. How much money you expect to make from your YouTube channel, and what type of content you could put on there, how much it costs to make the content, etc., etc. And honestly, I got started on YouTube because my daughter was like 7 or 8 and she started making a slime YouTube channel. And then later the slime YouTube channel turned into Instagram, and now she's more interested in modeling bikinis. She's a teenager now than she is making slime. And she didn't get that many hits on YouTube, but she totally knew what she was doing, 7 or 8, you know? She's like, we gotta do this, we gotta optimize it, we gotta change the lighting. I was like, wow, I mean, this girl, how many views, how many followers did I get? So, you know, it was kind of crazy. I really doubled down on YouTube during the pandemic because my own consulting business, Straightsmile Solutions, slowed down. My customer base is dentists, generally general dentists, pediatric dentists, some new grad orthodontists who are looking for help with not only learning more about different types of orthodontic procedures, but also implementing them in their office. So I was kind of looking around and seeing what's out there, and this is the best way to consider starting a YouTube channel is, for example, you know, most consumers under age 30, they don't search for, first of all, they don't search in the yellow pages. That's what we did 20, 25, 30 years ago. And remember when we first got out of dental school, we talked about how big should our yellow page ad be, and now that's like super obsolete. It's kind of funny when you think about it. I think I had to convince my husband that he could stop listing in the yellow pages. Most consumer under age 30, they search on YouTube and Instagram. So, and the cool thing about YouTube, well, we'll get into that. So anyways, they'll search like dentist near me or dentist in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Invisalign provider near me, you know, and that's how they find their people. They're not necessarily even going to go on Google, and they're certainly not going to look in the yellow pages. So that's how they're going to find people. So if you don't have a presence in YouTube, not just saying Instagram, but YouTube, they may not find you, and you're going to miss an opportunity to get a free referral. Why pay for marketing when you can do it for free? And that is the beauty of YouTube. And you know what? If you end up growing your channel and getting lucky, which shouldn't be your ultimate goal, but if you end up growing your channel, then fantastic. You know, extra bonus, a little bit of residual money coming in for your Starbucks for your team. So anyways, I have made over, I think now 8,000 YouTube videos. It's ultimately quite ridiculous if you think about it, but it just kind of piled up. And sometimes they're very successful and wildly successful, and sometimes they're not. Ultimately, my videos were meant to be for dentists, but I mean, a heck of a lot of consumers listen to them because I try to explain things extremely simply, in a simple manner, so that anyone can follow along with what a certain appliance is, why we do this method, and so on and so on. So, I mean, orthodontics is fascinating, and it's really, really fun, and it's very visual. That's why I do what I do. But also because there was just terrible orthodontic education prior to me starting to do this aggressively a few years ago towards general and pediatric dentists. The vast majority was sloppy ortho, anterior only ortho, very limited ortho, social 6 ortho, and that was pretty much the education you could get. There were a few programs out there that you could spend, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars to go to these weekend courses. You had to travel, and you were in these kind of mini residencies. And I'm not saying those are bad, those are fine, but that's not for everyone. And why not just put all the information out there for free? I think for me, so much ortho education that's out there towards general and pediatric dentists is so not airway focused. And I know a lot of orthodontists roll their eyes when I say airway focused, but I 100% believe in this. Down to every little bone in my body, I believe in it. And I'm going to do my best to leave a digital thumbprint. I mean, who knows, 20 years from now, YouTube might be obsolete and there might be no digital thumbprint, but a really, really good orthodontic education. Perhaps my kids can benefit off of it later. Maybe they can't. At the very least, hopefully I've done good work and I can retire in peace, knowing that I left a really good legacy, even if it's mostly a digital legacy. So that's the why behind my YouTube channel. How do I get the inspiration for the videos that I make? Well, they come by request. I get requests every single day through social media, through email, text, LinkedIn, Instagram. Can you make a video about this? I don't understand this. But for the most part, I have my own consulting company where doctors will talk about cases, and I'll realize that I need to teach them a certain subject, something I learned either over time or in my residency, and there was nothing out there for me to teach them. So it's the best way for me to teach my doctors what they need to know. So I'll just give them a link. I'm like, here, I made you this video about reverse curve wires and how they work for your case, or bite turbos versus bite plates, when to use them. And ultimately it snowballed into over 8,000 videos. So do I make them completely myself? Yes and no. So it really depends. If I had more time, I probably would, and during the pandemic, I definitely did more of the editing and stuff myself, but that's not something that I love to do. I don't love to edit videos, and you can see a lot of my videos are static videos. I'm not necessarily doing a demo. Yes, my husband and I own offices. No, I'm generally not in those offices. He does most of the clinical work. I have my own consulting business, so I'm more flexible for our kids, for travel, things like that. Who knows, it might change in 5 years, never. Yes, he does do some ortho, but he does it independently. He doesn't need help. So yes, I have access to an office. That's a huge pain. And to be honest, the offices are almost always full and there's almost always bodies in them. And where we are, the air conditioning turns off on the evenings and weekends, and it's freaking hot here. So I have no desire to do that many demo videos. I've done some in the past. I don't know that they're any more popular than the ones that aren't. I don't think I need to do anymore. And there's plenty demo videos that are out there. There's also very few orthodontic educational videos that are in plain American English. There's a really good provider that's in Australia. I really follow him. He's great. He's fantastic. I learn from him. I'm sure other people learn from me that are orthodontists. There's one in Japan. Everything's in Japanese. He's good, but for the most part, not too many Americans doing this that aren't completely patient facing. So, hey, if I can be the first one to do something, why not? So, okay, how much does it cost me? Again, I usually outsource the editing. I use the platform Fiverr, which is completely legal. Yes, you're going to pay sales tax on that. Yes, you're going to get a 1099 for expenses, or you're going to be able to expense it because it is a legal way to hire people, and they're getting paid legally. So I'm sure there's ways that you could do things under the table. I just decided not to do it. They help me with my infographics and video editing if I need editing. Sometimes I do. But sometimes I do my own stuff. You can use Canva. Canva is not hard. And when I first got started, there was no Canva that was easy to use. So I think it took them a little bit longer. I have people that I just completely trust that do editing for me, infographic making, and I'm super glad to be supporting people in other countries that I completely trust. And I have my own little virtual team. I also have people locally that I'm glad to hire if I need someone actually local, but for the most part, that's significantly more expensive. So, it is what it is. So how much money do I make? Well, it's really hard to put your finger on it because a lot of my referrals from my consulting business do come from YouTube. They find me via YouTube, just like anyone else finds anything on social media. That's one less person. I basically cut out all my marketing budget. For a long time, I paid marketing companies to run ads for me, Facebook, Instagram, a lot of Facebook, some Amazon, LinkedIn. And that was $1,000, $2,000 a month just in the support fees, let alone the ad spend, so that made it was $3,000, $4,000 a month. I was basically 6 months ago, I basically took a risk and cut that completely out. For all of you that are in social media, you're wonderful, very wonderful, lovely people. I'd love to refer you to some of those people, but I just didn't need it anymore, to be honest. So I was able to really cut down on my expenses and focus on making more content, on my own, which is what I really love to do. Like I said, I don't have a quota in terms of content. If it comes to me and it's an idea and it's by request, I'm just going to go ahead and make it. It's either going to sink or sail. And it is what it is. Sometimes I take stuff down. In terms of revenue that I get in, that's the unspecific, I don't know how much that value is. In terms of people who find me, certainly reputation wise, I think it's helpful. As far as what my revenue I get, my 1099 from Google, from Alphabet, I get about $300 a month. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll take a couple $1,000s a year. I rationalize it as it pays for my Starbucks coffee, and I know that's a complete waste of money. But I love my Starbucks people. I go down every morning at 4 or 5 in the morning as soon as they open. They're like, hey, how are you? Kind of starts my day. It's just how I do my day. So not a super expensive cup. It's like $5. But it makes me happy. I vary it up, and that's what pays for it. It's the YouTube budget after taxes. So that's the why behind making YouTube. But certainly I know plenty of dentists who are crushing it on YouTube, because remember, my customer base, I may only have 11,000 followers right now. Granted, it's snowballing. It's going up exponentially, which is awesome. You know, started with one. But I know plenty of dentists that have hundreds of thousands of followers because their team makes YouTube videos showing demos, talking about their patients, talking about, you know, fun, creative. They have a great sense of humor, and that's their marketing. You know, they don't do direct mail marketing anymore. They don't do ads anymore or anything like that. They just showcase who they are and what they know, and people find them. And people come from all over the United States. They fly in to see some of these dentists because they really like these dentists. And, you know, for the most part, consumers don't like dentists. I mean, they trust them, but they just hate going. So if they can find a team and a dentist that they love, who they trust, who they've gotten to trust over, you know, through Reels and through other stuff, you know, amazing, awesome. So that is a great way to grow your brand. And for those of you who are dental students, or even if you're working as an associate for a DSO, there's absolutely nothing wrong with starting to grow your brand now, talking about different subjects. Obviously, you have to be a lot more careful about, you really probably can't be showing records unless you have not only a release, but talking to your employer. So, I mean, but you can talk about topics. You can purchase stock images like I do. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, I do have a membership to Shutterstock because I do purchase a lot of stock images that I can show because I can legally show them. And I don't have to worry about getting sued. Do not steal other people's images. Not only is that a huge violation, but I can tell you about 20 years ago, it can't have been 20 years ago. When did we first start our first office website? It must have been, my son was a baby or I was pregnant. So it had to have been 2005, 2006 for our first office. And we didn't know, so we just found images on the internet and put them up, and we ended up getting sued, you know, and we had to pay a lot of money. And we had no idea. I mean, we didn't know. Now everybody knows you can't take on images from somebody else, but we didn't know, you know. So, oopsies. So yeah, don't do that. That's highly not recommended. Make sure you have purchased your images. And that's the other thing you got to watch out. If you're using people making infographics for you, even Fiverr, even Upwork, I've had people saying, oh, these are free images. You need to know they actually are, you know? So it's better that you get the images and you give it to them and they make the content. That way you own the rights to the images. And if they come back and if they do a Google Pixel search, Google picture search, Google photo search online, and they find that this is indeed a stock image, if you can't prove that you've purchased it, again, you can get sued by Getty Images or Shutterstock or whatever, and you don't want to do that. So yeah, go for it, grow your brand. This is the time to get it on YouTube while you still can. It doesn't have to cost anything. Incredible way to talk about what you know, get your personality out there. Even if you're just a dental student, that's the first thing I would be doing right now, and talking about everything I'm learning in class, you know, or even what went on with the day, what dental school is like. There's so many things you can do. I know podcasts are hot and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but there's a heck of a lot of dental podcasts out there. So why not get started with YouTube? Glad to help you out. As always, we do offer each and every dentist out there a free consultation. We're not going to go over any of your patients. We're just going to chit chat about what you want to talk about, be it social media, orthodontics, whatever. Glad to talk, dental school. You can schedule that at straightsmilesolutions.com. All right, thanks so much.